the INFJ door slam. For me, yes, I have. You could say that yes, the former marriage was a form of an INFJ door slam. Yes and no, because even the marriage counsellor was like, well, he actually opened the door. That was quite rare, but I thought I could give it a go. But that's it. I kind of don't want to talk about that much too much. It's like, I don't want to beat a dead horse. But I have probably like jobs, friendships. There have been times where I'm there and then suddenly I'm not. And it would seem like to outsiders or people associated to that weren't actually involved in the process of the INFJ door slam, because there is a process before it actually happens, that led to me no longer being there. There is normally a point where I am trying to negotiate, I am trying to advocate, I'm trying to try my best to maintain a relationship or whatever it is until the point of no return. And once the no return does happen, there can be a form of emotional and then physical disconnect. It's just, this person is no longer meaningful to me or valuable to me. I don't mean valuable as in money or anything like that. It's just like there is a certain amount of devaluing that I can only sustain for so long, that once again it's like, is this person a positive value in my life or a negative value? And then it becomes that a judgment call of yes or no, does this person stay in my life? And probably other types of this, I think INFJs are known for it, and I think there's also the other side of the door, that sometimes the door slam can be used a bit in defense of probably emotional regulation that probably a person didn't need to be cut out of their lives. It was just a bit of more of a react rather than a response to something. And then I'm an INFJ, that was a door slam sort of thing. It's like, there's a chance for learning, chance for growth there. But there is a process to it. It's not just like, well, this person didn't like put cream on my lattes, and therefore it's like, I'm out of here sort of thing. But I think for me, how it happens is that for all my complexity, be it the trauma, be it the INFJ stuff, I'm actually a very simple person. Believe it or not. And the simpleness goes that treat me with kindness and respect, and I in return will treat you with kindness and respect. Pretty simple. And I don't think you have to be an INFJ for like that sort of civilness or courtesy to actually exist in a person, exist in your life. We don't want to hang out with people that like treat us like crap. Like I treat you nicely, and in exchange you can treat me like crap. Sounds like a great deal. Sounds like I'm getting great value out of that. But I think also for myself, like if you look at that INFJ FE and red flag chat that I did, it was sort of, sometimes there's a naivety or a willingness to see a red flag and try and pull out the green dye and try and start dyeing it green. There is that FE, that wanting to harmonize someone to actually bring value in their life, but it's also the other person's willingness or awareness to change the thing. They might be just doing what they're doing because, like, one, they intend to do it, or two, it's like they're just completely unaware that that's what they're doing. So the other side of it is the INFJ likes harmony, but it's also the INFJ's perception of what harmony is to them. And that, so sometimes it's like walking into a lion's den and expecting the cats to roll over so you can pat their belly sort of thing. There's a certain perception where you're in a lion's den, and the harmony that you're trying to bring about, you're going to walk out with some scratches. So there is a point where, for myself, there is a process where if I'm treated with continued disrespect, and disrespect can be or treated with like just not kindness, like just belittling, like if I try to have a voice, it's shut down, if like not seen, not valued, not emotionally attached to, cared for, left alone, basically, like just sort of like you're in something, but you're in there in name only, like you're in either a relationship or friendship sort of thing. You're there, but you're not there, sort of thing. It's like you're to be seen but not heard, sort of thing. And the more that you try to have your voice, or try to just basically have basic human rights and values, sort of thing, and the more that you are continually not allowed that, then it comes a process of where, for me, I will actually, I can't say that in every situation, but in most situations, I will start to try and advocate for myself, or start advocating for a group or a situation, sort of thing. I've done this in jobs, I've done this my own relationship, I've done it friends, everything like that. It's just a case where I start speaking up. And once again, if you're not to be seen and not heard, you might start to hear this, well, you're changed, sort of thing, or it's like, this is totally unexpected of you, down, sort of thing, because that completely unexpected of you is for an INFJ door slam to happen. Sometimes there is the INFJ doormat, and it's welcome to come on in, treat me like crap, sort of thing. So that's where boundaries are important, sort of thing, and that's where the INFJ starts to exert themselves and starts to, once again, we process a lot of stuff, we take in a lot of stuff, and a lot of that stuff is what's being said. Like we hold on to information quite well, just stores away in that little Google information database of our introverted intuition that we can call upon, which quite scares people. It's like the NI defense shield, sort of thing. We just call upon this information that's just been sitting there, and we start to use it against them, their own truth against them, sort of thing. So it can be quite scary for the person. Now, if that doesn't work, or sometimes there is a weighing up, because there's situations where I can think where I just didn't say anything, and I just weighed it up, played it through, and I thought, well, the value of me actually acting is actually going to be more damaging to myself or to the situation, so it's better just to cut losses and go. There have been situations where I've done that, or where it's a case of trying to mediate, try to do something where harmony can be brought about. Now, if that goes on for too long, there's no change to behaviors, there's change in name only, and then once the heat's gone, it's back to normal, sort of thing, of just continued disrespect, or just a lot of sabotaging. That's the other thing, like sabotaging things. So either your own identity, your own business, whatever it is, sort of thing, that to try and make you seem like you are something that you're not. There's going to be a lot of that happening. So if that goes on for long, once again, that's starting to mount up of the value of disvaluing oneself. And once again, it's back to that basic human need of treat me with respect and kindness, and I'll treat you with respect and kindness. It's a no-brainer. So for myself, there'll be a weighing up process. It is kind of like a scales thing in a way, like an emotional scales of I've done this, I've done that, doesn't seem to be changing. Will it change down the track? Probably, but do I want to take, because that's the other thing, it's like you've only got so much energy, you've only got so much of your own self-worth, of own value, that do you want to be spending your life fighting in the hope that something changes for the better, sort of thing. Sometimes there's situations where that's a yes, and sometimes there's a situation where it's a bullying situation, whatever, sort of thing, or where the person just doesn't want to change, there's no awareness, or they just don't want to change. But you just got to pull the ripcord and get out of there sort of thing. You're free falling towards the ground, and you've got to save your own self-worth, your own energy to get out of a dangerous situation. So that's where the metaphorical door slam happens, but that is very dramatic. Once again, it's a bang sort of thing. It comes from, like, I don't know, I mean, I don't know where the actual term comes from, but for me it just invokes like an argument sort of thing, and you're slamming the door and that's it sort of thing. But what it looks like in actuality is I'm there, I'm not. So there is that, begins that emotional disconnect from the person. It's like, okay, the judge and jury have come back in and this is the ruling. I don't see this changing. Okay, the verdict is it's better to be out of this situation. And we disconnect, we go away. And most of the times we never reconnect. Or if we have to, it's like a very surface level engagement. I've done this for my family sort of thing. It's like I had to. I've done it for my ex-wife. I've had to. Because the amount of emotional devaluing was too much. So to save my own self was to disconnect. The other side of it is also that, yes, we can just go on as if like this person never existed sort of thing. And in that, because there has been a lot of emotional processing in that process of, does this person actually matter to me sort of thing? Do they have the value? Are they more hurting than they're actually being helpful sort of thing? So there is a lot of processing beforehand. It's just not like a snap decision. The other side is that, and I would argue the point that there is no sort of like just complete emotional disconnect, because definitely through my work with emotions sort of thing, those emotions store in your body, like trauma stores in the body. So even though there is that disconnect and we can probably just move on quite okay, the damage is still in the body. So sometimes we can lead ourselves into seeing a red flag because that is what we've seen in the past. That's what we believe we are good for and deserving of, or this red flag, we've got enough green dye that we can turn it green. So there's that point where it's like learning to care for oneself, but also learning that to process those emotions, to let go of those emotions properly, where we don't lead ourselves into harm. And there's no perfection in the world as far as like we probably will go from one damaging relationship to maybe a slightly less damaging, but there is a learning experience in that. But hopefully with enough emotional processing, you just don't go back into the lion's den again, hoping for the best outcome. So yeah, there is that INFJ doormat where it's like being okay to assert your boundaries, to say no. I think we sometimes come from a very numbing, placating social environment, and some of it can be like, you can't like be angry, or you can't like be this way or that way sort of thing, which were probably normal emotion sort of thing, but because it's kind of like a child that's crying sort of thing, like you walk past it screaming sort of thing, and that's child's just expressing its needs. It can't just go, oh, I just need this sort of thing, blah blah blah. It can't verbalize its needs. It's doing, but everyone's like, oh, just shut up that kid sort of thing. It's like the kids are expressing its emotions, it's expressing what it needs. But if there's like a certain amount of emotional suppression because it's not okay to express emotions. And that's not to say that you can go out and be angry and punch someone sort of thing. It's being able to express that emotion in a healthy way where you don't get hurt and other people don't get hurt, but being able to have your voice, being able to express yourself, to express your needs, and being able to say no, to put up those boundaries and be comfortable in that. Because there's plenty of people that will just go, oh yeah, doormat. Do I even like wipe my feet and just stomp in muddy and go, oh, why are you telling me not to put my feet on the couch sort of thing? It's like, well, you've changed. It's like you've got to be able to say no. You've got to be able to like stop the fire before it spreads sort of thing. throughout your life, to the point where you are having to make those decisions of, is this person valuable to me? And it does sound terrible to say that, because it's like, is this person valuable to me sort of thing. But if you look at it from a self-worth perspective, if you frame it in that context, is it valuable to my self-worth that someone is making me feel angry all the time, is making me feel upset all the time, I'm losing sleep, I can't navigate my job, I can't do all these sorts of things, is it worth it sort of thing? And then it's like, for an INFJ, it's like, nope, tick, never happen. So if I've ever been in your life and then I'm suddenly not, if it's been a job situation or anything like that, know that I've probably done a lot of behind the scenes work to actually advocate for myself or advocate for others. I do believe in social and personal harmony sort of things. I will try and do my best, but if I'm facing false promises or sort of sorries that like two wrongs don't make a right, where it's like they apologize for something but it's not actually the source of what they're actually apologizing for sort of thing, and it's a point of like, were you even sorry in the first place? Or like, or if there's going to be like, yes, I will no longer do that, I'll no longer be hurtful to you, and then probably 2 days later, same behavior, even though you've brought awareness, even though you've tried to incite change, that it just happens again. And it's like, once again, do I want this in my life? We only get one life to live. Do I want that constantly devalued? But it also comes from the INFJ's perspective that a relationship is a cooperative. So it's like, what led you into that? What led you into holding that baggage, to allowing that to happen and learning from that? So once again, you just don't go back into lion's den and go, well, I'm an INFJ, I'll just door slam this sort of thing. Or, it's like, it's the other person's problem sort of thing. It takes two to tango. I'm Dion from Eflowtion Support Services, and thank you for watching this INFJ chat, and I'll catch you in the next one.